On Tuesday, August 23rd, 2005, a storm located near the south of the Bahamas called Tropical Depression 10 reacted with a tropical wave, creating an intense tropical storm. On Wednesday, August 24th, 2005, the tropical storm rising in the Caribbean was named Katrina. On Thursday, August 25th, a day later, the tropical storm grew to the size of a hurricane. Later that day, Katrina made the shore of the east coast of Florida, killing 4 people and leaving about 1 million Floridians without power. The storm was expected to hit the Florida Panhandle next, while it was traveling at tremendous speed through the eastern Gulf of Mexico. On Friday, August 26th, Katrina had grown from a Category 1 hurricane, the least intense, to a Category 2, and it had doubled in size from Wednesday. Later that day, the next projected landfall of Katrina was to the left of the Florida Panhandle, planning to hit Mississippi and Alabama. On Saturday, August 27th, Katrina grew to a Category 3 hurricane in the middle of the night. The path of the hurricane switched and was projected to hit New Orleans. On Sunday, August 28th, Katrina was upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane during the night, with winds exceeding 145 miles per hour. That morning, Katrina grew to a Category 5, which is the most catastrophic of all hurricanes. On Monday, August 29th, 2005, Katrina made landfall in Mississippi and Louisiana, where levees were being breached and New Orleans began to flood. What began as nothing more than a tropical storm ended up affecting over 15 million people, whether it was due to economy, evacuation, gas prices, or even drinking water. An estimated 400,000 jobs were lost as a result of Hurricane Katrina, sending the Gulf Coast into a financial crisis. And the final death toll of Hurricane Katrina was 1,836 people, which made it the 3rd deadliest hurricane in U.S. history. Unfortunately, 705 people are reported as still missing. Nature's power, once set into motion, can result in an unstoppable momentum in which there is no turning back. And as I pondered this morning's text found in the 19th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, verses 19 through 40, I had the sense that Jesus was in a position that was just as unstoppable, a point which there was no turning back now, even if he had wanted to. Just as Hurricane Katrina had built from a tropical depression into a Category 5 hurricane within just a few short days, so too Jesus' ministry had gathered momentum in just a few short years. This young man, whose widespread reputation as a healer and sage had been catapulted into the public spotlight as Israel's next Messiah. This man, who interpreted Scripture with a unique twist, while eating with sinners, was gathering a following of peasants and poor people who were determined to make him their king. It seemed just yesterday that he had been dangling young children on his knee, giving them his blessing. It had only been recently that he had been admonished by some for his drunken revelry instead of fasting. When had things changed? What had been the turning point in his ministry career? Was it when word began to spread of his feeding of thousands of people with just a couple of fish and a few pieces of bread? Did his superstar status begin to happen when people overheard him refer to God as Daddy? Was it when news swept the land about how he had revived the corpse of his good friend Lazarus? When had it happened? As he rode into Jerusalem on the back of the colt, he probably had some time to look back on his life and reflect on these questions. And undoubtedly, he would have realized that there was no single turning point in his life that had placed him here. His life had simply seemed to evolve with an energy all its own. A divine energy, maybe. A sacred and divine, unstoppable energy that was propelling him through the streets of Jerusalem on the back of a colt, with thousands of people spreading their outer garments upon the road in front of him, and his disciples joyously proclaiming him as their king, anointed and ordained by God. And some people, recognizing the building power of this energy, cried out to Jesus, "Teacher, order your disciples to stop." And Jesus, realizing that it was now too late, that it was in fact impossible for anyone to stop what had been put into place, replied, "I tell you, if these were silent, the stones would shout out."